Hey, welcome everybody to our fantastic, incredible Pod Talkcast show. Today we're going to be joined by Vector Spaceman. If you've been watching the channel for a little while, you recognize this little goober, but let's go ahead and get his connection up on screen. There he is. Look at him. Look at this little guy. It's Vector Spaceman.
Ayo, how's everybody? It's the Vector Spaceman. Hey, everybody over there. Hey, everybody over there. Hey, Dregn. How is everybody doing tonight? It's the Dregn Durant Incredible Pod Talkcast show featuring Vector Spaceman of the Vector Spaceman show, starring me, Vector Spaceman. How is everybody tonight? I hope everybody's doing super well. It's a Friday. It's a fantastic evening.
Yeah, it sure is. Happy Friday to everybody.
It's a Friday once again, everybody. I hope you all had a productive and or relaxing week. This is our first time being on your new format, Pod Talkcast show, Dregn.
Heck yeah. We're trying.
I like how everything looks here.
Oh, I'm sure you do. You can kind of see from your camera, right? It's coming along. It's coming along.
Broadcasting live from Harbor Station. It's Vector Spaceman.
Look
on
at
the Dregn
that.
Durant show.
If you even duck your head, you can see the Harbor Station lobby in the background.
Let me get out of the way. Hold on. Let's just shimmy down here. No.
Yeah, there it
Out of
is.
the way. There it is. Okay. Let's peek on back up. There you can see lovely Harbor Station. Where are we? Hold on. Oh, he's peeking.
He's peeking. He's trying.
He's creeping. He's doing his best. Dregn.
Yeah, what's up?
What a lovely show you've put together.
All right.
Thanks for having us, as always.
Vector, I need you to scooch up.
Scooching.
Well, good to have you on, dude. I know we've done a couple of these little talk shows in Harbor Station where we visited your little beautiful recording booth. We don't have that kind of budget
love
here.
To do little shows like this here. Indeed.
But how you been? What's been going on? What's been happening? I know you played a little bit of Halo recently with their, what was it, some event? But
this is true. Yeah. No, I've been well, Dregn. Though we have been out of contact for a minute. This is true. We've been doing about one, maybe less than one stream a week, trying to stay consistent, averaging about, 0.7, somewhere in and around there, streams per week at this point. Yeah. But trying to stay a little bit active as we continue to press on, working on our latest animated special, which is going to be coming out around the end of October, early November, to tie in with another Halloween-themed episode, and of course, celebrating the 2-year streamiversary, as it were, of the Vector Spaceman show.
Fun. Yeah, we actually did our part. We'll see how that comes out. It's always a curiosity because I like to occasionally revisit the story of how when you first started doing these, it's like, hey, I don't have legs. How is that going to work?
It worked out.
It worked
swimmingly.
out. Yeah. It's become a running joke out here. But hey, we take what we can get. It's all good fun.
And it's much easier than continuing to try to make you fake legs for every scene that you're in. We just commit to the bit. The man's got no lower torso. You know what? It works. It works. We're fine with it.
And I just realized I'm gonna need to move you aside for just a moment here because I believe back when we were recording, my calibration is all weird. So, smile.
This guy and his calibration, though.
There we go. That's a little better. I'm like, why am I squinting all the time? I don't know. I guess I do have those eyes, so what can you do?
What a professional.
I know.
Honestly.
I know. Don't give me that.
But that's right. Dregn is going to be featuring in this latest production, as he tends to whenever we put on one of these special shows. See, yeah, acting like you don't know what's going on, trying to bring the viewers up to speed. Jeez.
Ah, come on, we got to make that attempt. If you haven't seen Vector's specials, do go check the description for his YouTube where they are posted. Vector, did you ever get around to making a separate playlist for these?
I did. You can find them under our playlist called Animations.
Wonder if we should maybe pull that up real quick because it's been a little bit.
Put links in the chat, maybe?
Links in the chat. Oh, we're not playing a game. Get out of here. There we go.
We're playing Zomboid now, you guys.
The Zomboid's a good time. I was joking about it last time how it reminds me of Civilization, where Civ is like one more turn. Zomboid for me is like one more day. I can survive. I can do it. But
it's just zombies. We can make it. It's fine.
But here we go.
Yeah, if you go to playlist there,
Playlist
I'm sure you can find
and
it.
animations. Look at that. Oh, I don't want to actually watch them all right now.
Look at that.
It might be fun for a time.
Animations.
But yeah, what is this now? You've got the Spaceman
Well,
comic.
we have 3 full-length episodes. We also have some of the intro skits on their own listed there. You know what? There's also going to be bits that you won't find on this playlist just yet, because they haven't been sort of separated off from their main the main special recording. We do have all of the specials on playback as well. You can find those under the live stream playlist. But you won't find stuff like the intro skits, with the exception of, I think, the Halloween special intro skit.
Yeah, you did the 2 for the Halloween. What was this, like last year already, man? It's already been a year.
Coming up on a year from the Halloween special. One of our best. One of our best.
Can you believe it?
But yeah, we did another intro skit for the Vector Spaceman 2.0 special, and of course one for the Christmas special. You know, we did little, little extra stuff like the September 21st animation last year.
Yeah. Do you remember?
Valentine's Day skit. Yeah, sometimes they don't all end up in the playlist there, but I try to keep it up to date.
Very fun. Yeah, it's always great to see, because it's one of those that you don't really see too often. The last thing I can remember watching that really gave me the vibe of it's like God, what was it called? Video Game High School? You know, these little skits that people do and put them out on YouTube.
Sounds familiar. I don't think I ever watched that series, though, but I've definitely heard of it.
Yeah, what was that guy from Rocket Jump, Corridor Digital? Does that ring a bell? There was that Asian dude. I forget their name. It's been so long since they've been around.
I'm afraid it doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah. Video Game High School was produced, I suppose, by those guys, and they had a full, like, 1 or 2, maybe 2 seasons and like 3 or 6 specials, I forget. But they did a whole joking episode skit kind of series talking about you're in high school and it's like a video game elite high school, and there's a lot of these like augmented reality / video game mechanics happening around the school. It kind of reminds me of Hero Academia, if you watch anime, or these other shows or tropes where it's like, hey, you're in high school but there's powers, or it's like Harry Potter, right, but for video games. Yeah.
We love to see enterprising series like this.
Exactly. This was it's been out for a long while now. I want to say it's almost been 8+ years since it came out. So, but then again, I can't really be tooting anything about what's out there because my pop culture is pretty poor, as you know.
This guy doesn't get any references.
Nope. But I don't mind it. I mean, it's always fun when someone's like, you don't know this one? I got to show you the video. Check it out. Yeah.
So you get to experience it all firsthand.
Exactly. And even if I did see
nice and fresh.
It'd be firsthand.
Never run out of content.
Every time. Yeah, my memories. I got the memory of a goldfish, so I probably watch the video and forget about it in 10 minutes. You know,
I see. It's the early onset dementia, you guys. Send your thoughts and well wishes to Dregn Durant of the Incredible Pod Talk Cast Show, Episode 2.
Don't give me them sad eyes, Vector. Get out of here.
We're just lamenting your slow and inevitable mental decline.
You know what? You're not. You're around the corner. You better watch out.
These are lies. We wear helmets. We keep our brains safe.
Yep. Keep that radioactive.
It's all good around here.
Yeah. You don't need those rays. You're like Magneto, right? You keep
like Magneto, exactly.
Yeah.
Get out of my head, Charles.
I'd say fair. Yeah. Get out of my head, Charles. Yeah. Do you think he'd hear that? Just people start knowing that, hey, something's tickling my brain. It must be Charles again. God damn it, Charles.
It must be Charles. You just presume, yeah.
Damn it, Charles. Stop
you just start proactively, thinking weird stuff on the off chance that there's a Professor X up in your brains.
That would be funny. It reminds what's that? Was it Mel Gibson? I forget. There was a movie long back about a guy who suddenly could read the minds of women. And it was just, oh, that's what they're thinking about. Obviously he tries to use it to like advance his position in relationships, but there's a moral in that story. That's another really old one, but that was always a fun idea.
Word.
Well, with telepathy, you don't need words.
True. No,
Yes.
you got me there.
Yeah.
Well said.
So Vector, since you're working on your special and you're not, you're streaming occasionally, what else have you been up to? What do you do when you enjoy your time?
I just told you that. It's all work all the time.
All work, no play?
These people, it makes Vector a dull boy, and that's why we have to, take a day off per week. Just do a little streaming, do a little fun times, that sort of thing. Have a little, have a little treat, a little fun times. Do a little something. Stream a little stream. Be a little guy.
Be a little guy. I mean,
be a little guy.
That's such a good time. I mean, you have so many role models to look up to, like Frodo and Samwise and.
Hey, first of all, I'm not gonna let anybody disparage, Frodo Baggins, Samwise Gamgee, even Pippin and Merry. You know what? No, they're all absolute G's.
Danny DeVito, yeah. Hey, I said role models. I wasn't giving them any flack. But what is a Vector snack? What is you get like little Vector Scooby snack type of deal, or?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
You still...
It's how I get motivated to put myself into life-threatening situations and or make more animated specials, despite the strain on my time, health, and mental fortitude.
But you do it because you love it.
Well, I do it because I like getting to see these jokes, what's the word? Manifest on the screen, right? Like there's jokes we're putting into this latest one that I have had written since we first met some of our characters that we see in these. They've just been kicking around waiting for the right moment to fit into a script. And I've got jokes that, I've got written down that still haven't made it into a script yet, but that I'm sure will work in future specials.
Look at this professional.
It's all as long as we've got jokes and as long as we've got ideas and as long as we've got, concepts that I think are funny and that the people who do these recordings with us think are funny, then we'll keep doing them.
Nice. That's awesome. Is that typically what goes into your thoughts when you're writing these scripts? Because you've done 3 pretty long ones now, and
they are a medium for communicating jokes.
Okay.
And we have to produce a scaffold of loose plot surrounding those jokes to connect one bit to another. That's effectively what we're doing here.
Have you ever tried stand-up by chance?
I have never tried stand-up. Have you ever tried stand-up, Dregn Durant?
No, I've only been to stand-up, unfortunately. And he said a joke.
I gave him a perfect layup for a no legs joke. Yeah. And he whiffed it. He absolutely botched it. This guy, honestly.
A lot goes over my head for good reason.
All right, he kind of got it back.
yeah, I'm good with the rebound at least.
that was a tepid attempt, but we got it.
Hey.
Let's engage with the chit chat for a second. Hello, Regel Mikado. I hope you're well. Thanks for tuning in tonight. We love to see folks. And of course, I saw Kern up in there earlier as well. Kern, I hope you're well. Our VIP, our very important frog.
Yes, he's always here asking if he's early.
He always is.
Anytime I post a new planned video, it's like, am I early? It's like, bro, it's in 3 days.
That's what you want. That's what you want, is someone who's punctual.
There you go. How's your chats been in when you stream? Because I know one of the things that I've noticed after a couple of years is that if you take a significant break or have a bit of inconsistency, then people tend to forget that you're out there, which is, I think, just an unfortunate reality of the platform. But god damn it, Steam Elements,
welcome to the chat, Steam Elements. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being the best little bot. But no, I know what you mean. That's why I like to do at least one show a week when we can, when we're not too overworked with recording.
What do you think?
Stay active, stay consistent-ish. But no, we still get, 2 or 3 maybe people who will pop into chat consistently and say hi. And it gives me something to riff off of and sort of bounce around. And we might get a raid every now and then. Gives me something to, something to rant to, some people to engage with. Tell them what's happening on the screen, so I'm not just yelling at myself. I'm yelling, with the space cadets, as it were.
Yeah, there you go. That's always a fun time. I just scream out into the void. The void
Straight
of
into the
space.
void.
Yep. Yep. They're just wavelengths that are going out there, and if something receives it, I hope they don't attack me, and that's all I can pray for.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Fun.
But
So,
next week, speaking of Rig, who's here and apparently is alive, if I'm reading chat correctly, I think we're probably going to try our hand at the Nova Swarm's latest visual novel, because that should be releasing sometime late this week, meaning that we should be able to get our hands on it next week, and if not, then the week after.
Yeah.
I'm definitely looking forward to having a go at that, though.
that's always a fun little project that they do. Visual novels. There's a few people that we know, actually, mutual people we know, that have done visual novels.
Visual novels or straight up games? Yeah.
Yeah,
No, that's a
games,
project
fair
that
one.
I would like to try my hand at as well, is releasing a nice short little game or something like that. That is something that we would be able to do, and be able to incorporate a lot of the same people that we've done the specials with as voices, as characters, as things like that.
And it's also a slightly altered medium to share those jokes.
And I can do most of the work myself, instead of, having to be present for everybody's recordings,
That's
taking
true.
up all of my time. I can just power away at it. Might be a better use of some of our creative, how you say, obsession.
Now, why do you think that you could do it more by yourself? Is it because we don't really need the...
Because I don't need you there to,
Yeah, you just need the voice lines.
program or to
Okay.
or to make art assets or things like that.
Yeah, that's a big brunt of extra work right there. Have you ever done any sort of coding in that format? I know you did some Flash stuff.
I've done stuff like that before.
Yeah.
Not just in Flash, but also in I used to mess around with Unity back in the day. Not recently. They're in a bit of a pickle.
Yeah,
it seems.
you want to talk about that? I'm actually curious what people think about Unity.
It sounds like this whole thing surrounding runtime data collection, which is allowing them to estimate or guesstimate
Allegedly.
or track, even more nefariously, anytime that a Unity-based game is installed and run.
Yep.
I wondered how far back that goes, because if you've got a really, really old build of Unity, can you just make games with the old stuff and not have to worry about that?
So they did put out an update, I want to say either earlier this week or mid last week.
And I've read that as well, where they've said that we're only going to be applying this new payment model to like the 2024 build and then forward or something like that.
And then as far as the runtime stuff goes, it looks like they kind of backtracked on that, because so many people had questions about, like, how are you actually tracking this? How do you identify?
What do you mean
a legitimate
how many people
call?
are doing this?
Yeah. And from what I saw, it looks like they backpedaled from it, and they're just now pushing it onto the developers. Like, oh yeah, now through the contract, you'll be responsible for informing us through your tracking mechanism of unique installs or whatever. It's like, you fucking guys.
But of course, we do have people that we know and that we've worked with, like Megan Dawn, who program in Unity their games that they've released and the ones that they're working on presently. So of course, they don't want to have to switch mid production or anything like that to a new, how you say, new engine.
Yeah.
I kind of like the prospect of an open source engine like Godot or something like that.
Oh, you know about Godot too? Nice. Yeah,
sure,
that's
I do.
been a fun one to play around with in occasionally.
But here's the thing: is what Unity's got going for it right now is the fact that it can build to consoles, and that's just built in. It's real easy.
Yep.
You don't have to worry about learning different libraries or anything like that.
That was the big allure to it, and one of the reasons why it got so popular, because it's like, hey, you develop it, you can release it on PC, on console, on mobile, and it was just part of like the export process.
But there are games built in Godot that have been ported to consoles.
Yeah.
So it's just not built into the engine. You got to go through specialty companies who can do this for you, or lease out their services, that sort of thing.
And so in fact, the one
game, yes, they would do that for you, and they charge you for it. The one game that we were playing a while ago, Cassette Beasts, they were talking about they're the first Godot game to be ported to the Switch, I think is what they were saying.
Oh, no kidding. That's cool, though.
So it can be done. It's just not built into the system. But at the point that it does get built in, because why wouldn't it? Because you're picking a fight with here's the thing about Unity. They're swiftly figuring out you can't treat a client base that is developers the same way that you can treat a client base that is consumers.
Yeah, true. Yeah, because the developers they're working for you, basically.
Exactly. If your client base is full of uber nerds who spend every waking day of their lives, you know, doing incredible simulations and, you know, game theory and what have you, first of all, you're never going to be able to, you know, pull one over their eyes in terms of sneaky pricing practices or anything like that. No, these are rules lawyers by the very definition.
Yeah.
But you also can't risk them just migrating to your biggest when your biggest competition is an open source community built like replacement for your own service.
Yeah.
You'd better be doing everything you can to keep your customers happy and on board.
Yeah, what an L move, man. It reminds me a lot of, we talked about this I think on your show way back when, but talking a little bit about what Wizards of the Coast tried to do with their open gaming license for Dungeons and Dragons. It's just like the top down was the executive team was just like, hey, we can milk your audience a bit more, and the difference is the audience for Wizard of the Coast was players and hobby enjoyers. The audience for Unity is people making games with your platform, which you can't exist without, right? So
well, it's not dissimilar, because what do? You buy a player's handbook or a Dungeons Master's guide.
Yeah, fair.
And then you're set. What do they need you for? You've got to be producing killer content that just makes the player and the Dungeon Master's life so much easier that they'd rather buy your product than spend their time.
Right.
It's a time v money thing.
Oh, 100%.
Every single time.
100%.
So the same thing with Unity. If it becomes more economical, whether in terms of spending your time or spending your money, to just, you know, do it yourself, then that's what you do. It's the same thing with Wizards of the Coast. If it's worth more your time to just you know, make your own adventures, make your own systems, then that's what you do. And then you find it's very hard to get people back on board with your product. It's like, what did we need you for in the first place?
I was thinking about this with just business in general, because there was some videos I think that spawned out of the Unity drama talking about the cost of software, the cost of video games, right? Because really, once you make the costware. But for things like take Skyrim, for example, right? It's like that game's been out for what, 10 years? I guess GTA 5 is pretty much up there too. But you know, you're selling a game.
It must be at least 10 years, yeah.
Yeah, if you're selling a game for 60, 80, 100 bucks, depending on what the package deal is, and that lasts for 10 years, like, does it make sense for it to be that expensive? And does it make sense for the executive team to be like, hey, we can technically get more? It's like, bro, please, what are you trying to do? Where do you draw the line? What does a brand mean anymore, right? Yeah. Because I compare it a little bit to older, this is a weird comparison, but older, it's a Dregn segue, guys, but it's reminds me
it's real Dregn hours, you guys.
Yeah, there we go. But it reminds me of hardware that you used to buy where it's like lifetime warranty. Like, you buy a hammer, this hammer better last you a lifetime, and if it doesn't, we'll help you out, because like, we stand by our brand, and this is what it costs to make the hammer, and this is the margin that we need to survive. And if we have loyal customers, then we'll make it. But now it's just like more and more and more. Where do you, the line in the sand is just a thing of the past.
Whatever happened to integrity, Dregn?
Yeah.
Honestly.
What happened
Where
to
did
it?
it all go wrong?
Oh, you know what it is the psychopaths. They figured out that if we become the head of a company, then not a lot of people can say anything back to us.
I guess that's true. Dregn speaking from his corporate experience again.
Maybe, I don't know. It's funny because I think back to my time in that world, and as soon as the company went public and we had a board that wasn't the original founders making the calls, it's like, oh yeah, if I think in hindsight, that's where things started turning around. So when you look at big business and even game development or even businesses that buy hobbies, which, man, I have such a gripe with now that I'm in this side of, I don't even know what you would call this life. But look at
streaming, you mean?
I'm not really a streamer, am I? We do stream, but yeah, that's a conversation for another time. You can't monetize integrity, but you know what? People sure are trying. I guess that's really the moral here.
That's what you used to call goodwill. Consumer goodwill.
That's actually a new take. I don't think I've really heard that word thrown around in business. It was more just like the brand meant something is, I think,
well, that's
parallel.
effectively what it means. Yeah, it has value.
Yeah.
I'm not certain that you can monetize it. You might not be able to quantify it, but you can certainly qualify it.
True. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. All right, I need to figure out stream elements because it keeps popping up. Why is it doing this to me? It's being difficult, guys.
Are we anti-stream elements? Is it not supposed to be here?
I don't need it popping up telling me it's running every 5 minutes.
Well, it just wants you to know that it's doing a good job. And you know what? I appreciate you, Stream Elements bot. I'm glad you're running. Thanks for being here. We know you're doing your best.
Yeah.
You know.
I wonder if I can change it, being like, I'm here, I care. It manually changed the message.
You might just be able to. You might just be able to.
I might. I'll have to look into that. But yeah. Yeah, it's a weird world, and not really sure what to think about it. Like even products, like going back to the hammers that you used to buy nowadays. I had to replace a shovel recently because it just broke where it was weakly welded to the handle, and I'm just like, are you kidding me, dude? Why am I buying multiple of the same items? It's that planned obsolescence.
How am I supposed to dig up my corporate gold from back in the day? Or bury the latest body? Mm-hmm. That's the important one. My shovels keep snapping, man. Come on.
Right. Go to the hardware store. You got to buy 5 shovels. What is this, Minecraft? Get out of here.
Honestly.
Yeah, what are they trying to do?
That's the thing. You got to upgrade your material. Forget the stone business. Come on.
Ah, diamond. It's so expensive.
Diamond. Well, it's just so expensive.
What is it worth, really? I don't know.
Dregn was promoted to, is that supposed to say customer soul? Because you've written costumer. And now I'm just thinking of Dregn in little outfits.
Well, we do have a Halloween special coming up, right, Vector?
We do have a Halloween special coming up. That's true.
Maybe I was upgraded to a costumer. I don't know.
You'll just have to tune in at the end of October / early November. Honestly, it's probably going to be early November. It's probably going to be like that first weekend because Halloween falls in like the middle of the week.
Oh, does it really?
That's never a good time for super special streams.
Yeah. When do you think is the best time to post a special, Hector?
When do I think the best time to post a special is? I'm not 100% sure because we've only ever done it on Saturdays. We've just consistently been doing them on Saturdays because generally people have weekends off.
Yeah, because you know there's that trend, and this kind of blending the businessy stuff that we were just talking about, but they usually post their announcements on Fridays if it's bad news, right? And the logic there is that they think people have the weekend. They don't want to really look at news. That's something they kind of do like Monday through Thursday instead. So they'll put it out on Friday hoping that less people see it because they're just like, I don't want to look at this right now. I'll worry about it next week. And then the weekend goes by, and by the time Monday rolls around, it's like, oh, it's out of mind and out of sight. Out of sight, out of mind? Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. Saturday Saturday probably works because that's when people are trying to have fun, so they're looking for things to have fun with, right? Friday people are working, so they probably don't want to really. They're just gonna do what they do. Saturday seems like a good
even
day.
somebody like our friend Buffy, Space Buffoon, does their special streams in the middle of the week. Did one yesterday, another lore stream that we were helping out with. We were a little voiceover for that. You guys should go check Buffy out.
Oh, how fun! I haven't seen this.
How
one.
fun, right?
Yeah, Buffy's actually. I'm pleasantly. What's the word? Not pleasantly surprised. Pleasantly impressed. That
You'll probably just say impressed. I don't think anybody's ever been like distressingly negatively impressed.
No. I'm positively impressed. But yeah, Buffy Space Buffoons changed a lot with his kind of pseudo production. I don't know if it's full on production, but like thinking back to when he was doing the just a little PNG Space Buffoon, and a lot of the streams that I've popped into tend to be he's doing that whole, is it Vroid? I forget, the little suit, the 3D.
Well, Buffy's had that model for pretty much the entire time that I've known Buffy. But just cycles between like many different styles. The 3D, the 2D PNG, the 2D like MS Paint drawings, those type of things. So it's a creative channel.
It sure is.
Buffy's a creative type. And we love watching their show.
Yeah. It's always fun popping into Buffy's channel too, because a lot of the ones that I've seen, there's always someone just like hanging out. It's like they're just hanging out in the ship bay, just having a chat. Yeah. Kind of reminds me of the couple times that the two of us and Neff just were hanging out, or I guess on going back to Nova Swarm, how they do their little
the lounge, if you will.
The lounge, exactly, where they're just under the kotatsu. They're double stack kotatsu. Yep.
Staying cozy.
Exactly.
Staying comfy. Staying welcoming.
Yep. And then, if we're talking about others right now, it actually pleased me to see that they started doing more like where the three of them will get together and just start doodling stuff. Like they'll just start drawing. They were doing like the whole Pokemon
art streams
stuff.
And stuff
Art
like that?
streams, exactly. Yeah.
Oh well, yeah. The Pokemon one was for like a themed art challenge, I believe.
Yeah. They started it, so they got to finish it now.
Well, yeah. You've committed to it.
Mm-hmm. And you've done a handful of art streams,
sure.
And I think there was a couple out there where they were more. Were they rigging streams? I forget. It was.
Yeah, we've done a few outfits on stream too.
Do you enjoy doing those on stream, or does it feel like something you prefer behind the scenes?
I enjoy doing it when I know. Yeah, it has to be pre-planned. I have to know it's something that I can get done within the length of a stream, because I like showing off the process from start to finish.
Okay, so if it's something that might take 3 streams to complete, you tend to shy from it.
Yeah, because I think it's better for the viewer, and also better for the rewatchability of it.
Gotcha.
If anybody ever wanted to, we did ones where, like, we did the Christmas outfits for the old model with the gloves and the scarf, so we could get all those pieces done and rigged up and placed in live 2D and exported into VTube Studio and shown off all within the span of one episode. And that's great. You get to see the whole process from start to finish. You get to see me tooling around in Adobe Flash, because who uses that anymore?
Yeah, you're on that old license.
Right?
Yeah. Hey, but if you know how to use it, you know how to use it, right? So in some cases it's that, what is it? No need to reinvent the wheel, or don't break it if it ain't broke. The wheel.
No need to upgrade to anything. No need to learn new skills. That's what they say. You never want to teach an old dog new tricks.
But one of these days, though, I'm sure you will play with something new, which I forget what the application was called, but you did try something new because you had like a free trial. I remember that.
Oh, like Clip Studio Paint, maybe?
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking about.
And to be fair, I actually do make most of the assets we use in the specials and on stream in Clip Studio Paint now, just because it's
better.
Well, it's less of a hassle to transition from Flash, then into Illustrator, then into
Oh, yeah.
Photoshop. We can just do everything all in one program, which is nice.
Yeah, that's something
And
that
it gets a very similar output in terms of the vector line work and what have you.
nice. We like that.
We like that.
Do you think it's just the ease of the process that makes you lean towards it, or is it more? I mean, come on,
Yeah,
it's definitely more
100%,
modern. Yeah.
No, it's the ease. It's not the style, because I still prefer the scratchy nature of native Flash.
Yeah.
Which is harder to replicate. You need specialty brushes or something like that to
Sure.
really go after that style.
Well, if
I could do everything in Flash, I'd do everything in Flash, but it's got problems.
Yeah. I mean, we rarely get a chance to have, moving guests on screen, but like watching you wiggle around, it's so clean. And there was like an old
We're
school.
so clean, you guys.
So
Look
clean.
at us go.
Look at
us
that
wiggle.
polished
Look
helmet.
At us, look at us glisten. Come on. We're
Oh.
absolutely killing it over here.
Shining so bright.
All right, check this out, though, you guys. All right,
Oh,
you
what's he
guys
gonna
ready to
do?
go for a Dregn? I'm deactivating gravity controls.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no! Something's gone wrong, you guys.
Look at him go! Look at him go!
Hold on. We're slowing down. We're slowing down. We're upside down. Kick.
Oh, that's so
kick.
funny.
Ah, too far. Yeah. We're back. Whew.
Good thing
That
you
was-
didn't drink any of that
that was a
slushy in the
hassle.
background. Yeah.
Yes. No. It would have been all over the counter, all over the ceiling, all over the floor, all over my boots, all over the helmet, all over the visor. But that's why we wear eye protection, you guys.
you gotta have eye protection, especially when you're working with dangerous tools like them guns.
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
Like you mean these guns? Hey, hey.
That's right. That's right. Actually, that might be a fun little intro to a special. Neff walks into Harbor Station. There's just you ever play Splatoons?
I never played Splatoon. I never had a
Have you seen it?
Switch.
Do you know about it with like the paint
I know
and
of
it's
it. Yeah,
splattered
yeah.
everywhere? Yeah. She walks
Quids,
into
no.
Harbor Station and it's just pink paint, green paint, but it's not paint. It's just slush everywhere.
Slush, just an absolute
Yeah. What happened here?
mess.
That's a scene right there.
That's it. It's not. It's a concept, but we could workshop it.
Ah, okay, you wordsmith. You got to be so literal. You got to be so literate.
So literally, yeah, you gotta. Geez, this guy knows how to read and write.
He knows
and, like,
words.
Knows words. Honestly,
Unbelievable.
honestly.
Man, where's your shelf of thesaurus?
My self of Thethorithith?
Exactly, you got it. That's what I said.
That's what you said.
That is what I
That's
said.
100% what you said. You're right about that.
Speaking of Neff, Vector, what did you think about our times playing Helldivers? Because that's one of those collabs that we've done quite a few of actually over the years. 2 years, I guess. That's years.
Helldivers is a great time.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful for the sequel that's coming out at the start of next year.
Yeah, allegedly, as long as it doesn't get pushed out again.
As long as it doesn't get delayed again. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it too. That's always fun. I feel like we're a little overdue, so maybe once you're done with the special, we'll get the gang back together and go dive hard
Most definitely. And if it turns out that it sucks, we can always go back to the first one.
again. That's fine. I mean, that reminds me of... you ever play Diablo? I never played Diablo.
I never played Diablo.
Yeah.
No, I've never played any sort of old school computer RPG where you have to like click to move around, with the exception of maybe RuneScape, if you count that.
Okay.
Because I guess it had the same sort of click to move
Sure.
style.
Okay, so you weren't really a big MMO guy then growing up.
No. Like I
you
said,
did
with the
dabble
exception
in
of
WoW?
RuneScape, I never played MMOs that you had to pay for
Gotcha.
growing up. So if it was free to play, I might try it out. But yeah, we weren't a big like recurrent cost household, so we
Yeah.
didn't have like the WoW subscriptions or stuff like that.
Gotcha. But anyways, I brought up Diablo because, yeah, if Helldivers 2 turns out to be different and cool, but not a better game, right? The gameplay is kind of lost its charm because of the change in its direction. It would remind me of what we see going on with Diablo right now, where I guess.
Well, isn't it different and not cool and not a better game?
Well, the gameplay is just poor from what I can discern. So I forget who I was looking at, but they were talking about they had gone to Twitch to see like what the most popular games were, and they found out that Diablo 2 and 3 both have more viewership than Diablo, what is it, 4 right now? So yeah, it's like you can't, I think people are starting to get tired of the repeats, and just you're not adding much to the game. It's just the same thing. You put lipstick on a pig, right? You make it better visually, but if the gameplay suffers, then people are going to move on from it.
A sequel for sequel's sake, if
Yeah,
you will.
yeah. And I think we see
Who
that
wants
with film.
that, honestly?
Do you feel like that's the case with film? I know that's
With
a
film?
media segue here, but film.
Certainly with some franchisees, yes.
Yeah.
I think there's a strong case that a lot of Disney-owned properties are sort of laid out.
Ooh, do you follow any of that news?
Oh, sure.
Sure.
Like Marvels and Star Wars and what have you.
Star Wars, I think that's a different webpage you got to go to for that.
Talking about Star Wars, people.
But yeah, what's the big one that was getting some flack recently? Snow White? Is that the one?
Oh, you're talking about like the live action remakes.
Yeah, the live action remakes, which I think I forget it. Was it Aladdin? Like people were like, yeah, that one's okay, but Snow White seems like they're just intent on destroying the film before it even comes out. I don't really understand what the game plan is there.
I think I saw the live action Lion King.
Where it was kind of like pseudo-realistic.
Yeah, they tried to make the animals as lifelike as they could.
Yeah, what'd you think of it?
Well, that's never going to look good because animals aren't expressive in the way that animated animals are. Because animated animals will get, animated to an anthropomorphized degree. Not in the sense of like Disney Robin Hood degree, but to a degree where they can like smile and look sad and stuff like that, where real animals don't have those facial muscles, if you will.
That's true. Yeah, that's actually a super good point.
It doesn't really look like you'd expect it to. Like they're still singing, they're still doing the songs. And it's like, well, this doesn't look right.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. It's like, imagine a cheetah out in the wild just starting to break out and dance and song. Yeah, that's something wrong with this scene here. Am I tripping right now? Did I take some LSD? What happened?
I lied. I think I also saw the live action Jungle Book remake as well, because I remember Christopher Walken as an orangutan.
I feel like I remember seeing pictures of the kids, but when did that come out? Was that years ago at this point? Or was that recent?
Well, a lot of things are years ago at this point, but yes.
Wow.
This was a while back.
Time sure flies.
Time sure does progress. You're right about that.
What a concept.
But again, same issue. Animals doing songs. Bill Murray as Baloo, but he's a bear, and he's a real bear. But he's not a real bear, but they do want to make him look like a real bear, which is to say, he's got bear face. But not animated bear face, where he can smile and dance and sing and what have you. He's just got a bear for a face.
But they seem like they did a decent job with, what's that other bear movie? Hamilton. Or was that that was a live action, right?
Hamilton?
Was it Hamilton? The cute little bear that was based off of like a Broadway or something?
Hamilton is a Broadway show about Alexander Hamilton.
No, was it not? What is the bear one that I'm thinking about? With the with the yellow raincoat?
Shut up. You're thinking of Paddington Bear.
Oh, Paddington. Thank you, guys.
Good Lord, this guy. God bless him.
Listen, shut up. Leave me alone. Yeah, Paddington, that's the one. Listen, they got kind of a similar ending to their name. They both got
they got a T-O-N at the end of the name.
Yeah. That's what got me. Oh, get out of here.
That's what tripped him up.
Paddington. Thank you. Man, even chat's
That
like,
was,
I gotta correct this fool.
I think I might have seen that film as well. And well, obviously it's not a real bear though.
Yeah.
They don't try to be as realistic because it's a bear standing up and he's got a rain jacket and a Wellingtons on and what have you. But
that one seemed fairly expressive. I didn't watch Jungle Book.
I think so. No, Jungle Book wasn't the worst. Lion King was the worst.
Lion
I think
King was the worst. Yeah. Okay.
But those two, they're in the same, category of being very near the worst because they're trying to do something with animals that animals don't do. It's interesting because I talk about like the lack of facial muscles that these animals need to like, express and what have you.
Smile,
it's actually
frown.
one of the things that separates domesticated dogs from wild wolves and canines and what have you.
Huh.
Is that our domesticated dogs have much more literally have more expressive facial muscles.
Oh, interesting.
Because we selectively breed, whether intentionally or not, for animals that we think express emotion in a way that humans can sort of relate to.
Oh, that's less interesting. What the hell? That seems a little more effed up.
What do you mean?
Wait. So they were bred to be more expressive? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, because we like to have like a dog that can smile and look happy and what have you, instead of just like a wolf with its mouth hanging open.
Sure. Man, why can't we just let animals be animals? What is this?
What did you think I was getting at? That it just magically happened or something?
Well, no, I thought it was just like it was like because they're around people versus being around animals. Yeah, it's like because like we over the years might reinforce their behaviors to be like, oh, use these back snout muscles to make their mouth curl in a something that resembles a smile, right? So it's like through like the reward process, they've just naturally kind of evolved that way versus out in the wild. But to have been selectively bred in a way to enforce it is just, I don't agree with that personally. But
well, I think, and Rig might be able to correct me if I'm wrong about this. Domesticated cats. Difference between domesticated cats and wild cats is that domesticated cats will meow into adulthood, whereas wild cats will not, because domesticated cats learn that it's like communicating with a person. Yeah. It gets their attention. It's basically the only way that they can say quote unquote words or express ideas and what have you to a human, like food or hey or yo. It's cat talk, but it's still their way of, communicating.
Nice. Yeah, see, that makes a lot of sense because it's more learned behavior. I mean, hell, even kids get that as babies because I think what the story is with babies, they can't even see properly until like
that's
3
true.
Or something.
Kids who are raised around humans as opposed to kids who are, abandoned in the wild. The kids who get raised around people, they'll continue to meow into adulthood. That's absolutely right.
Actually, yeah, we're seeing that in full swing these days. So yeah, you're right. Everyone can blame Vector for that little piece of information.
Rig says I'm right. This is not a surprise. We try to stay, abreast of useless trivia and what have you. Also, cats are slowly becoming domesticated like dogs have. They are slowly becoming more social.
I thought
there you go.
Kind of already were. I guess cats have boomed in popularity in the past decades. So
as opposed to what?
As opposed to like dogs. Like I feel like the power balance between dogs and cats have reversed. You know what I mean?
I think it definitely depends. I mean, I feel like cats were big, in ancient Egypt times. I feel like they were big, throughout most of history since we learned how to make big cats into little cats.
Let's talk about like North America. Yeah, because, depending on what part of the world we're talking about, I mean, dogs are part of the menu, so it's a little different.
True. Increasingly rare, but true.
I do have to backtrack a little bit on Rig's comment here saying functional facial muscles are separate Bethesda NPCs. Also separate Bethesda NPC from others. I thought that was a good one.
Let's be Bethesda NPCs real quick, you guys.
Hello. I can't talk with a straight face. Yeah, you're doing a great job at that.
My eyes can't get any bigger, so.
Yeah, I think one of the core features is you need to have this look of just intense, this 1,000-yard stare. You got to constantly have that 1,000-yard stare.
There's an intensity to it.
Yep. After you show expression, you got to cut that shit off after like 2 seconds max. Mm-hmm.
I don't have any pupils. That's a problem. I can't show increased intensity.
Did we ever talk about what color Vector's eyes actually are on like if you remove the visor?
You want me to get the color picker tool out and figure this out real quick?
Yeah, well, like if you took the visor off, would we see like brilliant orange eyes, or would it be like a boring brown like me, or?
It is a mystery, isn't it?
It's a mystery. Oh, okay, that's gonna be some deep lore. You got to see the special for.
Deep lore, you guys.
Yeah. When Vector...
No, the helmet doesn't come off because we encourage safety up here in Space Dragon. We're not some lackadaisical,
legless
run-of-the-mill, incredible pod talk cast show where just anything goes. No, sir. No, we got safety protocols.
Safety.
Engaged.
Man.
And now they're disengaged. Here we go. Why did I zoom so small? Oh, no.
I've harvested... Oh, he's tiny. He's Ant-Man. Look at that guy.
Hold on. I can fix this.
You can fix this.
There we go.
There we go. Man, we got to love those hotkeys.
We gotta love those hotkeys.
His eyes are in his helmet. You know, before we actually went live, Vector was showing off how literally the helmet does not come off. Like his head is first to come off from the body rather than the helmet from the head.
It's true. It was a unfortunate space glue incident.
Yeah, space glue incident. Yeah. This guy doesn't even use wood glue.
No, space glue, man.
Space glue. Man, what is that?
There's no wood in space.
A little space spit shine.
There's only metal and slushies and orange and neon
and neon. Yeah, you gotta have the neon.
And gas. And lots of gas.
Expensive gas.
Expensive gas, though.
Space diesel.
Space diesel, yes.
Well, tell you what. I think we're gonna take a brief little halfway intermission here because I need to deal with some biohazard, and we'll be back in like a couple minutes.
Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back to the program.
Be right back. Hang tight. All right, and we're back to the Incredible
But are we
Podcast
back,
Show.
though?
We are back, Vector. Yes.
I'm sorry, the Incredible Pod Talk Cast Show?
The Incredible Podcast Show, you goddamn right.
Episode 2?
Episode 2. There's a big 2 in the
Featuring
title.
Vector Spaceman of the Vector Spaceman Show?
Yes, he spins,
Starring
he smiles.
Vector Spaceman?
He has weapons of mass destruction. He does incredible
And
special
occasionally
things.
Dregn Durant?
And okay, this guy. Listen, you can be snapped off the screen. Boom. Get out of here. Get out of here. All right.
Oh, no.
Also,
Can you guys still hear me? Oh, we're back.
he's back. He's back. You could always be heard, Vector. Even if we can't see you, you always speak loudly in our hearts.
Even when we stop broadcasting, you're still going to hear a little Vector Spaceman in the back of your mind.
It's really
For
problematic.
at least 20 minutes after the show.
at least. It's like sometimes when I'm trying to sleep, it's just like go to twitch.tv/vectorspace_spaceman. Yeah.
If Vector's voice persists for longer than 4 hours, consult a physician.
A physician, not a psychologist. It's a physical ailment or affliction here.
I think you mean a psychiatrist, first of all, because a psychologist is just a nerd who runs experiments in a lab setting. A psychiatrist is the one who can give you prescriptions.
Oh, okay. Are you like a rash? Do I need to get something prescribed?
Well, for your brains.
For my brain. He's in our brains. You ever watch Osmosis Jones? Does that ring a bell? Did that ever show up in
Does ring a
Canada?
bell. Did it show? It's a film. It's a feature film.
Listen,
Yes.
there are certain films that China doesn't get to enjoy, so it wouldn't surprise me if there's certain films that Canada just like, that's not Canadian enough. I don't know.
It goes certain ways, all right? We get all the American movies. You don't get all the Canadian movies. That's a fact.
Yeah, that might be
Because
it.
a lot of those movies aren't worth getting.
Damn. Yeah, actually, that's a fair point. There is a lot that we don't get in the Americas or the States.
We don't get a lot of Chinese movies.
That's true.
Well, I mean, now
you
we
can
do.
look
Now
for
we
it.
do because
Yeah.
we can. Yeah. Now you can just go look for whatever. But yeah, they don't get a
VPN,
lot of
foreign
American
film.
movies sometimes. Well, they get a lot of American movies, but they don't get certain American movies, or they get
Exactly.
specially tailored versions of American movies because they're afraid of skeletons.
Yeah, that's a thing. That's a real thing, actually. I'm pretty sure certain video games have even had to conform to removing or modifying or reskinning things like skeleton, like skulls for some reason. Do you know what that's all about? I don't actually. I never.
They're
cared to
very
look
scared
into
of ghosts.
it. Is that it? Halloween must be horrible out there. It must be worse than the pandemic. The streets are
That's
empty.
probably why they don't do it. Yeah.
They're living Halloween every day. But yeah, fun.
I think it has something to do with just depictions of dead
Yeah,
people.
yeah.
They just don't. They just don't love it.
Considered negative. That that must mean that they get like none of the good Hispanic films that talk about like what is it, Dia de los Muertos and all that stuff.
I don't know how they spin stuff like that.
Yeah, I wonder if it's just things coming out of the Americas or if it's because there's film that happens. Obviously, Europe is big on films. Like France
Europe
has
loves film.
France.
Yeah.
France has a big film industry.
Oh, France loves films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then obviously South Korea, I always think of like K-pop, so I always think that their industry is a bit more musical than film, but I'm sure they must
Yeah,
have
they still don't have movies. No, they've never produced one film.
I don't know, they do though, right? They 100%
Yes, absolutely.
I'm not
Every
saying they
country
don't,
produces
Vector.
domestic films.
because when I think of
about how popular like K-dramas are
yeah.
in Japan and
Oh,
elsewhere.
that's I guess that's a fair
No,
comparison.
they have a thriving film industry. Yes.
That's fair. Yeah. I completely just forgot about dramas and TV shows. Throw that out the window.
Or just the propensity of people to make films in their native language.
Fine. I'll take the L on this one.
Riggs backing me up again because I'm so right about things. There's a certain game company that has to remove all skulls and 4s from their games from the Chinese
4s?
market edition because 4 is a scary number.
Is 4 the unlucky number like R13? I guess I
Yes,
don't know.
because
What is it in Canada?
But in Canada, the unlucky number is actually 2.
Is it really? 2?
100%. Yes, 2.
That's the more you know. I never knew that. I've
The
never
more
heard
you
that.
know. Mm-hmm.
So what's the story behind 4 and 2?
Well, let's do some remedial Japanese because it's the same thing for them. So let's count to 4.
In English? Japanese?
Japanese.
Ichi, ni, san, shi, ni.
She. And what does she sound like?
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, shin. It's
As
like
in
mortality
like death.
and death.
It's the same thing in Chinese. Er san shi. And so it sounds like same thing. Word for death.
Okay. Interesting. I never made that connection, but it makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm. And then 8's the lucky number because it's nice and symmetrical. And yeah, places got their superstitions. No ghosts, no 4s, just crazy 8s all day.
Crazy 8s all day, yeah. Vector, you saw. I was actually a little surprised there that you just whipped out some Chinese numbers. Is it just the numbers that you know, or are you practiced in Chinese as well?
No. So Wu Bui Ho Shuo Wu Bu Hui Shuo Zhong Wen because I'm terrible at it.
Yeah.
But I learned Chinese before Japanese. Because I thought, well, there must be some crossover here, what with the characters and what have you. And etymologically there is some. Yeah. But also I think I just didn't know where to sign up for the Japanese class the first year of university. So I took like a couple of years of Chinese, and then I pivoted into the Japanese.
Interesting. Well, when you think about the kanji, the numeric kanji for both languages are the same, right? If I recall.
Yeah, the kanji is the Hanzi, so it's the exact same stuff for the most part.
I only learned that because back in, I forget how long ago this was. This might have been like middle school for us, so half of my life ago, if anything. No, more than that. But I had a teacher that had introduced me and 3 or 4 others to mahjong. So like during lunch break, occasionally we'd come in and we'd play mahjong, which was a good time.
Is the one game that came with Windows XP that I never figured out how to play.
Well, the Americanized or the Westernized mahjong is different from the proper mahjong. Mahjong's like poker in Asia, whereas our mahjong out in the West is more like matching cards using blocks.
But you play it with funky dominoes.
Exactly, funky dominoes. That's a better description. Yeah. And it's funny because growing up too, I enjoyed dominoes, but like westernized dominoes is, you stack them and you knock them over, but proper dominoes is actually like a game. Like a game.
It's like who's got time to learn how to actually like throw down. Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, they kind of treat it like poker too, where like you'll make bets and stuff as well. So there'll be like a pool that you get if you win that round and all that. So it's actually fun. You play old school games?
Do I play what? Do I play old school games?
Yeah, well, like pre-digital, right? I'm talking chess, checkers.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Did you have a time for that?
Sumerian games.
Yeah, you throw rocks, Vector. You throw rocks and sticks.
You guys throw rocks, yeah. You spin hoops.
You know what I'm getting at now.
You ever just hit each other with sticks?
Yeah. Mancala. I haven't. So when I was growing up, right, in schools, we had maybe like Mancala always showed up at schools. Like we always had that at the back of the classrooms, like early grades.
It's a little board, and you throw beads or marbles or whatever.
Yeah, they probably justify it. It's like, oh, it's counting, right? There's a lot of counting, and maybe there's some math that kind of goes into that. Chess was always like in the library. I was doing chess for like 2 years in the library, which was always fun. But and then with family, obviously, I grew up with Monopoly, which rarely got played, Risk and Sorry, and like old board games like that. But you ever have a phase like that? You ever have things that you throw back or bring back up these days?
I'm a big fan of board games.
Yeah, but modern board games are so different from the 90s board games or earlier.
True, the Parker Brothers classics.
The classics, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think you've talked about this, or we've talked about this, where you have a buddy group, right? Where you go and have played some tabletop stuff with, and I want to say you got together. Maybe they're the same dudes that you used to play Halo with. I'm not sure, but
True. Yeah. So we like to get together. We live across the country at this point.
Yeah.
So we try to get together at least once or twice a year, though.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm running into that struggle more recently because like half of my friend group has now kind of dispersed out into other locations. So can't really do our monthly board game night or anything like that anymore. Too many of them have moved too far. It's an inconvenience now.
Well, now you got tabletop simulators and what have you.
That is not too far off. I forget if it was with the streaming group or if it was with my buddies, but I refuse to buy a tabletop simulator. I'm like,
I'm
damn
sure
it.
I have a license for tabletop simulator. And I think I've only used it once or twice.
That's
very
the problem.
difficult to get going.
Yeah, that's the problem I see with it. It's like people get it, they play like one or two games, like, oh, this is so cool, but because the mods can't outperform the physical, right? Otherwise they'll start having lawsuits, I'm sure. A lot of them are fan made too, but yeah, tabletop always comes up as get it, we'll play it, and it's like a one night only deal. So yeah.
And then you figure out you can flip the table. And then you just do that for 10 minutes.
Yeah, seems to be the gameplay loop, is that somebody eventually just becomes a goofball, or they get upset and they're like, flip the table. Yeah, it's so fun, because you don't have to deal with the aftermath.
Aaron Schaefer saying, what, you don't play 40K? I love 40K conceptually. And just not in the sense of paying so much money for plastic.
Yeah.
That I don't love. I've played 40K, and specifically the Kill Team game type variant.
Kill Team?
Where it's
a small group.
Much smaller armies, yeah. Where you're controlling individual models rather than units.
Squads. Yeah.
So it's much more streamlined. It's usually over in like 4 turns or something like that.
Yeah, I played.
And I've made like little armies out of like
paper.
Paper printouts on like foam cutouts.
Okay.
And what have you?
Yeah.
So I'll take the time to like cut them out and make them look proper and put them on little stands and what have you. And then I got my army ready to go. And I didn't just spend, $200 on luxury plastic.
200. Those are rookie numbers, Vector. I think.
And that's without paint even.
That's true. That's another aspect that people forget about. It's not even just the paint, it's the assembly. So tabletop simulator version, but 3D print my minis.
I have done that. I have played a couple of rounds of Warhammer 40K in tabletop simulator with friends.
Yeah, how'd that go?
Works.
It does. Okay. You get like a larger table, and you still have all the because you can actually pick up pieces in tabletop simulator, right?
All you need is the ability to measure distance and roll dice, and it can do that pretty easy.
Cool. Okay, I haven't actually considered using tabletop for tabletop war games, but
I haven't considered using tabletop simulator to simulate a tabletop.
If I could slap this guy through the monitor. You know what I mean. Oh, Vector would be like Yoda on your back, just giving you flack constantly.
Thought this through, you haven't.
Nope. We're unfiltered. But what were you going to say?
Opened your mouth too quickly, we have. I was going to say, Aaron Schaefer here talking about 3D printing the minis. Now, this is something that I'm a big proponent of. And not even necessarily like printing scans and recasts of actual 40K models and what have you, but even just the third-party stuff that gets produced these days is really cool. There's a lot of people producing really cool like sci-fi miniatures and what have you that you can 3D print and put together your own little army. And I love combining this with, and I've talked about this briefly I think on my stream before, you might have been around when the topic came up, these sort of rule sets for tabletop wargaming with like the serial numbers filed off where it's basically just rules. They play like 40K and other similar games, but it's completely like setting generic and what have you. There's one that I'm really interested in that's called Grimdark Future, which is heavily inspired by the Warhammer 40K setting. And it's got like generic versions of all the most popular armies and what have you.
Yeah, sure.
But it's all completely, you know, no unlicensed. Play it, you know, inspired in heavy quotations. But it's also got stuff like armies that are inspired by like the Predators from the Predator series.
That's cool.
Or the how you say Rebels from Star Wars. So there's a number of different sources that it pulls inspiration from.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, so they're kind of doing. It makes me think of what I had done on the channel way back when with the Horizon Exploration campaign, where I took Dungeons and Dragons rules and basically just reflavored them for sci-fi.
I would say it's more like what you have been doing with your Dungeon Core 20 project, where it's like Dungeons and Dragons, but we've filed off all of the serial numbers, as it were. So
they're boiling it down to the necessities to play the game.
Yes, exactly.
Very cool.
And you end up with a game that is very tight and easy to learn. And the thing that I love about it especially is, and you'd have to play 40K to sort of understand this. 40K, all your armies, all these individual armies have like their own specific rules with their own specific keywords, where you gotta buy, you know, the codex to understand everything. And then if you're playing against an army that you're not familiar with, well, now you've got to know all their special rules. Whereas Grimdark Future and similar games like it, they've got generic keywords for everything. So all models play, or all armies play by similar rules. Effectively, they all have very similar effects and what have you. Or if they do have special effects, maybe one army has it under a different name than another one does, but they're like the exact same thing. You can figure out, oh, that's what this means. It's just called this or something like that.
Give me the name again. It's Grim what?
Grimdark Future, and it's produced by a group called One Page Rules.
Oh, One Page Rules. Yeah, we know those guys, or not know them, but familiar.
And they make game rule sets for a number of different like generic settings. Like they have another one that's basically, you know, fantasy wargaming with the numbers filed off, and they have another one that is like space naval combat with the edges filed off, like to create a very generic, easy to learn, easy to play game.
Yeah, let's pull this up real quick. That's actually sounds very cool. Look at that.
And they got started as like a if I'm not mistaken, they were producing rule sets that could be like passed around at conventions. Because people would bring their armies together, and it's like, all right, well, what are we going to play? Well, we've got models. What's the easiest thing we can set up and do? And it's like, well, what if we had a very generic, easy to learn, easy to play game? And that's effectively where stuff like Grimdark Future, Age of Fantasy, and what have you, all sort of came from.
That's awesome. Oh, this is very cool. This is so
you're the
right.
rule sets are free to download, but they also produce their own model lines that can be 3D printed, which is very cool.
Yeah, I was thinking about that when we were talking about little 40K stuff, where, man, it feels like the logical step for a place like Games Workshop would be to have, you know, physical model lines for those that want to buy miniatures from them, but to also just sell the files, because you can't really go back and buy the older models that they used to have packages for. So,
well, they do retire some models every now and then, but once you start selling your 3D models, then they get passed around, and then there does become a piracy issue. You can't deny that. But
if they, I guess
the thing is, here's the thing. Games Workshop could not. I don't think they could bring it upon themselves to price themselves that low, where it becomes economical to print it yourself. to like buy an STL and print it yourself.
Well, for players,
they would probably I think they would still charge the exact same amount of money that they charge for the physical model. And you just end up with extra work and caustic, poisonous resin on your hands.
I'm sure there's a balance that they could find, though, because I think they have to. I've seen so many Games Workshop stores close over the past couple years. Pandemic.
They're
obviously.
Premium plastic, and I think they're gonna stay premium plastic. And if they do anything else, it's going to be pivoting into more games and stuff. That's sort of been an underserved part of their business strategy for years. Kind of like putting out a game here and there, but you never hear a whole lot about it. Like they've got a setting that people are familiar with, but that doesn't, really exist within the broad public consciousness in the way that something like Star Wars or Star Trek does.
Sure. I mean, they also have the advantage, well, I guess it depends on who you're asking, but being effectively the leader of miniatures, right?
Yeah, they've also got the best minis around. Yeah. That's undeniable.
So they get a little bit of
really
leeway.
Good modelers. Yeah.
Yep. Man,
want to touch on some of the stuff that Rig has been saying, because I've been glancing over this, but Rig is bringing up excellent examples. Haven't done Warhammer, but played a bit of Mobile Frame Zero. Love Mobile Frame Zero.
What is Mobile Frame Zero?
Mobile Frame Zero is a rule set for building and combating mecha miniatures that are built from Lego as a construction medium, which is very cool. I think that's very stylish. I'm a big fan of that.
Let's take a look at that. This must be it right here.
I'm not sure if that is exactly it right there. I'm not sure if the rules are free for Mobile Frame Zero. It doesn't look like they are there.
$30
you can buy the rule book.
How cool is that? Of course, I love this. What the heck? I've never heard about this.
Really nice little compact designs, which get shared around freely. Because here's the thing. It's like everybody wants to show off their cool little Lego robot. And at that point, you can't stop somebody else from sort of copying that design, making something very similar. And as long as you've got the Lego parts, it's it's go for it. You got free reign, man.
Look at this little. That's not the picture I was just looking at. The heck. This guy reminds me of Nemo, the Gundam Nemo, a little bit. Oh, these are so cool. I've never. Yeah, that's sick.
You got to be real economical with your part choice, because it is all micro scale Lego builds.
Right. Oh, you could do so much with this. Wow. Mm-hmm. So you're saying that you've dabbled in this as well?
I have tried to make some designs in the stud.io studio. What would you call that? Like Lego design software that you can find.
Stud.io.
Which is free to download, and it's affiliated with Bricklink, which is a reseller for Lego pieces. And it's got some really good integration as well. So it's basically a design studio for Lego kits, for custom designs and what have you.
That's awesome. I like that a lot.
But if there's one thing that it suffers from, it's that I think Lego can be piece for piece almost as expensive as Warhammer stuff.
Yeah, they are up there. I never understood growing up why my family would always complain and be like, "Man, I can't believe Legos are expensive." I'm like, "What are you guys talking about? I only get it like once during Christmas." And then having gotten older and looking at Legos, it's like, "Oh, they want over $100 for some of these. They want over $300 for some of these." Oh, they're not cheap.
It's the collector's edition. It's the $650 big box. Again, that premium luxury plastic.
You have a what's some vectored lore here for a throwback? Like Rig's bringing up some really fun little knick-knack kind of things that he knows about, but you got anything
Rig's
like
bringing up the same stuff that I'm bringing up, just doing it faster because he's typing.
Yeah, fair. Oh, these are so cool. I love these. Yeah, I'm a big fan of these like little mini builds, but I think I lean towards like micro board games. I love the rules of like a 1-2 pager that could be folded up into this like a tiny little 3x4 brochure or something like that. And there's just like a handful of components, maybe like a deck of some kind of customized cards, and you can just
customizability is a big thing for me. Like, I think that the games that have space for me in their world, I find I more often have space for them in my world. Like, if I can, you know, customize something,
be creative,
or
with
if
it.
I can impart some sense of personality into that's why I like RPGs and stuff as well, into a character, into a design, into a model. That's why I like little plastic models and what have you, because you give them personality in how you build them up and paint them out and kit them out and what have you.
So it sounded, I was getting the impression earlier when you were talking about it that you didn't actually dabble much in the miniature side of things, but it sounds like you did, not just the cutout foam cutout.
On occasion. So I'm pretty good at model building, model painting.
You're gonna have to share one with me,
obsessing,
or online,
if you will.
Sure. I want to see some of these.
I'm not great at model buying.
Sure.
So
that's
the thing.
yeah.
Because I like having money and not spending money on
Sure.
luxury plastics.
You got a semblance of responsibility going on in there. Yeah, it's those safety standards that you've got.
Which is why I love 3D printed models, which is why I still need to get around to getting my own 3D printer one of these days.
They're relatively affordable nowadays, less than $300 on average.
And I think it's about time that we invest in one. That
What
I
would
can start
you-
making.
What would you
What
be
would I start making?
printing? Yeah.
What would I start making? I'd probably start printing out little robots. I'd probably
Okay.
start printing out little dudes.
Little
I'd probably
dudes.
start printing out little diddly doos that I can use to fight other dudes in pitched miniature combat, because I really love tabletop war games.
If you do get a 3D printer, I would absolutely love to see a little mini Vector Spaceman printed out.
And maybe even a little mini Vector Spaceman.
Because,
Get
you
back
know,
into Blender,
Yeah, you were talking
brush up on
about
our skills.
possibly going into like a 3D model anyways, right? So I bet you those overlap. You could probably double up on the effort there.
I'm certain that they would.
Yeah, that'd be fun. You got a little printout Vector Spaceman on your table.
Build out the whole 3D helmet.
Yeah.
Transition into the live streams.
That'd be great. There's been a couple of YouTubers out there who use like physical. I think I saw one through Cody Ojo's stream once where they had used a physical doll in like a dollhouse to express themselves.
That's fun.
Yeah, so
That's fun, and that's different.
Exactly.
You know, honestly, it's like you scale from something like that to like a puppet tuber, like the McDogs,
Yeah.
to when Palm just puts on ears and does a live stream.
I mean, that's just streaming at that point, right? That's funny. It's funny because like the perspective is a little bit flipped in the VTubing space, because it's like, oh yeah, people who live stream, they're probably looking like, why the hell would I get a cartoon avatar? And then the people who like the cartoon avatar, it's like, why the hell would I show my face? So I think Pomato's in a special spot where she's done both now, and she's comfortable going back and forth as she feels, which I think having that mindset is actually a massive win compared to those that just do one or the other.
Well, it was also a prescient case of, I'm gonna make my model look as close to me as I can get away with.
Yeah, not too far off.
I could
Not
just
too far
flip
off.
back and forth.
Yeah, I think I want to say her hair wasn't actually red originally, but she dyed it.
It's dyed, but it's the same, basically the same shade.
Yeah, basically, literally. No, Pomato's a fun, good time. She's been doing well, and I think recently she got a sponsorship from Bethesda to stream
cool.
Starfield, which was actually very cool.
How come you're not getting sponsored by Bethesda Dragon here on your incredible Pod Talk Cast show? Come on.
Because they're on my blacklist, bro. After Fallout 76, they were added, and I hold pretty firm to my blacklist of companies that I'm like, don't trust you anymore.
I really just want to try out the spaceship builder.
I've heard
in
good things
Starfield.
about it.
That looks pretty cool. That looks pretty cool.
But you know what? There's other games that let you build spaceships. Why don't you get into like Kerbal Space Program?
Because those are like real. Well, first of all, I think that's very cool software, the Kerbal Space Program series. But that's like real space. That's different. I'm talking about flying around, pew pew, that kind of spaceship. It's different. It's different, man.
What do you think about Starfield, since we're kind of sort of talking about it, orbiting?
I don't think about Starfield. That's the thing. I haven't had any time to invest in playing it or looking at it.
Yeah, Vector's a casual gamer, you guys.
I have popped into a couple of people's streams who are like in the first like 10 minutes of it, and then I'll pop out where it's just like that intro cutscene in the it's like they're like space mining or something like that.
Yeah, the most boring intro I've seen to a video game in a long time.
I don't know, wasn't there last one like you're riding a cart to get your head cut off?
Yeah, but okay, you start with the cart and it's a meme, but you learn about one of the biggest main characters in the game from the get-go. And the thief dude, the one that's like, oh, I got caught up in this, like he sheds light onto the conflict between the Imperials and the Rebels, right? Like you learn a lot in that cart ride if you think about it. And then when you get to your head getting chopped off, you learn about dragons and like change your fate. In Starfield, from what I can tell, the characters don't tell you anything important other than we're gonna go find a doodad, and then you get.
Oh, I love doodads.
And then what? I think you pass out and you wake up and then you go outside for the first time or something. Like, what a boring intro. They don't tell you anything. They don't teach you anything. They don't explain anything. I don't know.
Well, this is all spoilers for me because I never played Skyrim and I haven't played Starfield.
You've never played Skyrim. It's been out for 10 years, Vector. Oh, wow.
I've been busy, man. Come on.
I have a real life. Yeah. Well, you were talking about customization and being able to like fiddle with the character. I think you would love Skyrim as much as it is an older game at this point. It's still a good game. I think I've played it through 3 times.
I may just. But I am looking forward to trying out Starfield at some point, and I want to play the new Cyberpunk.
Oh, I heard it's pretty good. Yeah.
I'm just a busy boy right now.
Nah.
So we gotta wait.
Priorities. We got responsibilities.
Rig saying I just now thought of the possibility of mixing up Mobile Frame Zero and Lancer. OMG. I'm sure that would work. Lancer, are you familiar with the Lancer Dragon?
Nope, not at all.
Lancer is a mecha-based tabletop role-playing game. Produced by at least the artist involved with a web series called Kill 6 Billion Demons or something like that.
Okay.
And they've also, Icon is also another more fantasy-esque RPG that they've produced. But it's cool in theory. Mastiff Press, is the publisher. I think it's cool in theory, and the world is definitely hurting for a mecha-based role-playing game, because people love that kind of stuff.
Well, I'm surprised, actually. I mean, I guess I knew Rig was big on mecha, but
on robots,
talking about all these TT war games or RPGs or whatever the heck they are, I'm fascinated. I have never heard of the mecha side of this. I guess I never considered the mecha side of this because it was always just like Warhammer is the miniature game. I played a little bit of War Machine, but they basically
there's Warhammer, and then there's Monopoly as far as Dregn is concerned.
Yeah, shut up. Macross Palladium?
Well, sure, and then there's like BattleTech and like.
Oh yeah, they do have a board game.
Heavy Bolt or whatever. Yeah, I mean
there's a bunch of board games, but these are like rule sets that almost remind me more of like BattleTech. Yeah. So.
But if there's one thing that always turned me off of Lancer, is that I didn't understand. I didn't really grok the world they were trying to sell. It's like a future where you've got these like super abundant 3D printers to the point that you can fabricate machines like mecha and what have you.
Okay, so they're 3D
and
printing.
I think it's hard to generate conflict in a setting of that sort of abundance. So they like set you on like the fringes of society, and you're supposed to try and find something to do in there. But yeah, Rig's right. It is pretty bare bones. More of a combat simulator with a setting tacked on. I'm not sure if people really keep to the setting or if they try to find their own sort of way to sell it.
So what you guys are telling me?
Rig, here's an idea, and I don't mean to rob you of an otherwise productive weekend, but I'm just saying, Nova Swarm themed Mobile Frame Zero builds. Like, think about it. Think about it. You've already got Ellie's to base one off of. I mean, think about it.
Probably not a bad idea, especially because your guys' Nova Swarm's lore does involve the semblance of a story between a universal antagonist and the protagonist faction, right? So
who's to say you couldn't simulate that with Legos?
You totally could, absolutely. Heck, that might even be a project for one of your 3D modeling streams. Yeah.
I'm not sure I have the right color. It's in my Lego. Well, at least pull up Stud.io and give it a whirl. Try to put together a model.
You know, Aaron just brought up a really smart point, which
I love smart points.
I don't think I've really seen or heard of, but I could just be out of the loop like I am with a lot of things. But a Gundam model kit based RPG/game. Has anyone actually tried to take, hey, if you get like your perfect grade model and use the kit not just for display but as part of a expanded kind of game? That might be an idea.
There definitely is, but again, it's like fan produced rule sets. I don't know if I've ever seen an official.
Well, that's what I think we're implying here is that, hey, like there's a surprising lack of, and there would be a strong market for it, which I imagine there would be. I mean, have you seen the Gundam side of Twitter/X? Have you seen that? Have you dabbled in the Gundam side?
I don't think I have.
There is a hardcore fan base of just global people who share Gundam and custom Gundams and Gundams that have, like, obviously, you know, the step up from building a Gundam kit is also to go take the step to do the painting of the kits, right? And then doing the fine line work in between the grooves, right? It's like the next step above that.
Yeah.
Yep. But there are people out there who are sharing kits of kit bashing. Obviously, is a next step, right? But they even take it a step further, where they implement LED lighting and even mechanical components, which is fucking just crazy. Like they got Gundam models where the wings are popping out and closing back in just with the push of a button and lighten up, and oh, it's so epic.
So I've been to Gundam Front a few times on Odava.
Ooh.
And where they have they used to have the big full-size Gundam display.
Yeah. I've seen it.
And they always had displays of custom Gundam that were made by like celebrities and like
they have tournaments,
contests and stuff, and they'd put them on display inside the Gundam Front shops and what have you. You could walk by and see like, oh, so and so who is the author of so and so manga made this one, and it's here on display for however long they keep them and stuff like that. Like, it's such a
next level fucking
well, no, I was gonna say it's such a enjoyed medium for so many people. Everybody gets into it. Even to bring her up again, we were talking about friend of the show Pomato did her first Gunpla model
that's right
on stream the other month. That was very cool. People love putting together robots. Little robots really bring the world together, Dregn. I think that's what we're coming to
that's
understand.
what we're coming together, man.
But you know what? I think, like, what's the smallest grade you can get? Like a high grade, or
no? There's a one smaller. Grade? You can get like what's the chibi frame called? I forget.
Oh, the super deformed ones.
Yeah,
I think those are.
Do those count, or is its own side section?
I don't think those probably don't have as many kits to
no, that has its
from.
whole market. There's a whole market just for those guys.
But it's not like
it's not
think
as
of how many like gyms you can get, or like how many different well, just like the actual models from like the shows and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's so much to draw from in high grade, master grade, perfect grade, what have you.
Right. Yeah, high grade's definitely low.
You probably got like, super. I'm pretty sure I have a super deformed Charzaku somewhere around here.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
he's looking over at his shelf. We can see it. All of my
you
guys
probably
are...
get like the main stuff, but I don't know if you're gonna get like a custom gym sniper 2 in super deformed or something like that. Like
sure,
you're probably gonna get the basics, but not as much as the other grades.
Yeah. The small ones always crack me up too, because I think there's like the Shogunte looking model line. I don't know what the naming of it is, but that one seemed to always be related to. Were they called SDs? I forget.
Yeah, SD, super deformed.
Oh, okay. Is that actually what it stands for?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay, it's in the name.
Look at us learning things today.
Look at us. Oh, such fun stuff. The Japanese culture.
Yeah, no, I think if you shrink them down, actually, yeah, you go a little further down in scale than the super deformed, then we're just dealing with the Metabots at that point.
Yeah,
and
sure.
I think that's probably why I like Mobile Frame Zero as well. It's got that same sort of aesthetic.
Yeah,
the chunky little
yeah.
micro scale dubers.
Man, Metabots though. Did you ever get into that? Did that come to
Absolutely, when that was airing on TV, and I was the perfect age to enjoy little robotic dudes. Dregn, imagine you're a child.
Yeah.
And a show comes on, and it's about children in your age range with little robotic companions.
Yeah,
and they've got customizable arms and weapons and junk. Dregn, come on.
Ah, so good. That's actually a great comparison. It was basically like Pokemon, but with robots.
I was perfectly suited to be the perfect demographic.
Oh yeah,
for that series.
100%.
And it it succeeds where Pokemon doesn't, in the sense that you get one buddy. You get one buddy, and the buddy can change. You don't have to worry about a whole cast of characters and what have you.
True.
Mm-hmm.
GoBots. That's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
GoBots is like knockoff Transformers.
Basically, yeah. It's Tonka's version of Transformers.
Thoughts on Byakugan, says a soul. Byakugan was out of my age range, I think.
Isn't that?
I think Byakugan came on after I was done watching shows.
What was that one? That's from Naruto? No, what am I forgetting here?
No, that's the Sharingan.
No, the Hinata had the white eye.
Oh, you're right.
one.
I guess that is the white eye Byakugan. No, Byakugan. You know what? I might be thinking of something else now, because I'm thinking of the one with marbles.
Oh, not Byaku. It's a Bakugan.
Bakugan.
I think that might be the one he's talking about.
Where it's cards and robots, and you roll them, and they're like marbles, and then they pop out.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. That's.
So, Vector, you don't watch cartoons anymore? Well,
he doesn't have to. He is the cartoon now.
I am the cartoon. Yeah, I watch lots of cartoons, and I make cartoons with cartoons. And I spend most of my time talking to cartoons, like Dregn over here.
Yeah, silly 2D man.
But no, I never did Bakugan. Like there's cartoons, and then there's cartoons which exist to be a commercial medium for products.
I don't know if this is a bit of a hot take from talking about what hero.
I think Bakugan was one of those, where it's a show that existed to sell toys.
Yeah,
I guess I didn't connect with those as much.
it definitely has that vibe, doesn't it? Kind of like Beyblades. Like, you knew Beyblades was like, oh, they're gonna sell these tops. But Soul here is saying some cartoons have deep stories that kids wouldn't understand. I actually think the best cartoons are the ones that have like a touch of like adult humor mixed into it, or adult writing. I mean, obviously the adults are the ones writing them, but like the modern day cartoons, or at least the bits and pieces that I've seen, because I don't really watch them because they seem just they don't seem to have a moral to them. But like older cartoons, yeah, there was like a story to it, there was a moral to it, there was like a deep like adult touch to it, where it's like adult watching it could get some enjoyment out of it, and a kid enjoying it that doesn't understand certain references can still get enjoy out of it. I think about like Powerpuff Girls and Dexter's Laboratory and a little bit of Invader Zim and all these, but like the modern ones, I'm just looking at, it's like, what's going on here? Like Dora the Explorer. I guess Dora kind of had a thing about
that's like
teaching.
preschooler content. Come on.
Sure. Yeah.
We're out of our element here.
Maybe, yeah. I'm gonna start talking out of my ass. Just shove a rocket up there and blast off again. Yeah. Some of these kid shows. Peppa Pig. I think that's a name I've heard.
You're done. You're just saying stuff.
I am just saying stuff now. You're right. See, I always appreciate.
Why we have to aspire to, write quality content for our own little animated shows.
Exactly. That's why I keep Vector around. He keeps me in check.
See, I'm not super familiar with stuff like Adventure Time or Regular Show or stuff like that. So, again, that was sort of after I was occupied with like school and stuff when those were airing. But yeah, I know that they're. I don't know if they're deep or if they're just so entrenched, like 10 seasons in, that you just start convincing yourself that it's deep. I'm not certain. I want to believe that it's well written and that people enjoy it because it's very good, because people do enjoy it. I've got cousins who got a dog for Christmas one year, and they named it after the dog from Adventure Time because it was like their favorite show.
Nice.
So I want to believe that it's quality content, but I just can't speak on it.
With Canada having their, you would know better than I, obviously, because you're out there. But
I might, but let's find out. Maybe let's see what Dregn thinks he knows. This is always fun.
Okay. Well, so with Canada having their broadcast, there was an acronym, right? They have their broadcast kind of broadcasting department.
We make movies too. Did you know that?
You don't say. That's wild. It just comes out, man. I don't think. But so Canada in particular has a pro Canada kind of commission or stance with a lot of their media, right? Like
Canadian.
We were talking about it once upon a time.
So Canadian broadcasting mediums. Like television, radio, what have you, has to accommodate a certain amount of Canadian-produced content in order to receive
there's there's incentives there.
Yeah, if they want some sort of government grant or something like that, then they have to broadcast a certain amount of Canadian content, CanCon, if you will.
Right. So I'm wondering, did you ever grow up with like a Canadian-based cartoon that maybe the rest of us out of Canada would not know about, because it's like there was a lot of injected kind of Canada promotion or Canada references, right? Things that 100%. You guys
100%. Okay. Let me give you some, and you tell me if you recognize any of these.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do it. I'm gonna pull it up as well.
No, you don't pull anything. Oh, okay. Pull up maybe
for
after
reference,
you've had a moment to consider it.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll do one that you probably never saw.
Yeah.
This one's called Yvonne of the Yukon.
Yvonne of the Yukon. Yeah. No, doesn't ring a bell.
And why would it? It's about a French Canadian in the Yukon, our northernmost province.
So for those who are unfamiliar with this one,
Actually, that might be wrong because I'm not sure if Yukon is even considered a province or if it's considered a territory still. Yeah, Yvonne of the Yukon. There he is.
this guy. I do like the art style though. This reminds me of God. Was this like back in the like Ren and Stimpy days? A little
No.
after it, maybe.
So John Kricfalusi is a Canadian.
Yeah.
We have to, I guess, own up to that. But
Sure. I wonder
but
why.
no, this would have been produced in the late '90s, early 2000s.
Okay. Does have that 90s kind of vibe to it though, for sure.
And Rig is absolutely right. The song is still burned in his head, in my head, in every Canadian of a specific age's head. It had a catchy theme song.
Okay. I mean, theme songs were a thing back in the 90s as well, right? Where it's like,
Absolutely.
hey, they made these themes and chimes with the intent of being catchy enough to be stuck in your brain.
A little bit of Inuit representation. You don't see that in a lot.
But yeah, no, I have never even seen these characters. So this is absolutely never crossed the border, it seems.
No, that was going to be a hard one.
Yeah.
Here's one that you might have seen before. This one was called 16.
Just called 16?
The number 16.
The number 16. Canadian version.
Version.
Well, no, I'm trying to make sure the Google search works. Because otherwise
Yeah,
I'll
you
just get a bunch of 16-year-olds probably.
16 cartoon. Try that.
No, found it.
Okay.
This, I was thinking in my
This
mind, like, what,
series,
is
yeah.
this going to be some Ben 10 stuff? What is this?
And a lot of people don't know that this is a Canadian series because it aired pretty broadly in America as well.
Yeah.
But is actually set in Canada. The characters themselves are Canadian. And actually, that little image that you see in the bottom right there,
the dude
same
here?
studio who would go on to produce Total Drama Island,
Yeah, okay.
which is also a Canadian-produced series, which was... That one I don't think was set in Canada, though. I didn't see that one.
This one looks like the art style from the Totally Spies days. What was that? Was
No,
that
it does not.
No?
I want you to re-examine what you're talking about.
Was it not Totally Spies? I thought it had
Totally
more of this kind of the facial structure that these guys are drawn in kind of resembles it.
To be fair, though, Totally Spies and Martin... Riggs on it here. Look at this. Totally Spies and Martin Mystery were both Canadian produced, though, again, not entirely, I don't believe.
Okay. Listen, guys, I don't have facts. I just have observations.
Yeah, a lot of the stuff that we consider... Some of the stuff that we consider Canadian produced is Canadian co-produced a lot of the time as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like Angela Anaconda. That was a series that was produced in Flash, which is great. And that sort of got me loving Flash at the time. But is more of a Canadian co-production than a Canadian production entirely.
Is Angela...
And the same can be said for shows like Undergrads, or I'm struggling to think here, was Clone High a Canadian co-production as well? Let me look this up. American Canadian animated sitcom. Yes, it was. Man, I'm good at this. Dregn.
Yeah.
I'm so on top of these things.
Yeah, you clearly are. You got a memory of an encyclopedia.
Undergrads
Nickelback's
bangs. It only got
cartoon.
one series. One season, I should say.
Dudley Do-Right. Why is that? Was that a?
Dudley Do-Right is a Mountie.
Actually, yeah. Okay, I remember the name from the live action, the movie they did.
And the animated Dudley Do-Right, I think, shares more in common with, like the Moose and Squirrel, Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Yeah, a little bit. Undergrads.
Don't forget the Winter of Our Discount Tent. I think I have forgotten this, Rig. I'm not sure what that is.
So many shows out there. Unbelievable.
And look at this. Chat talking about the Red Green Show. Absolutely. That was a live action
show.
That was a live action. The Red Green Show was a live action sitcom about very Canadian men doing very Canadian things.
Like, what does that mean?
Like stereotypically, Google it. You're gonna find Red Green Show. There you go.
Okay, obviously they're
Look
wearing
at
the
him.
plaid
Look
shirt.
Jeez, look at him.
What is the deal with lumberjacks and plaid shirts and Canadians and plaid shirts?
You know, just easy pattern
Yeah.
to put together. Nice and thick, so you don't get splinters in your chest.
This is like YouTube content before YouTube was a thing.
I mean, it was a lot of segments, so kinda. I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. I sleep all night and work all day. Yes, Aaron, come on. Classic Monty Pythonisms. Painfully Canadian, says Rick. Give him a baseball cap and you got my Gramps there. Yeah, it's strikingly Canadian.
That's funny. Wow. It's funny too because one of my, probably the best buddy I know from Canada, we met through playing D&D online, but his recent images, it's just this big old bushy beard and a plaid shirt. Like, yeah, you're Canadian, bro.
That's what happens. Yeah.
That's what happens.
We grow those here. Yeah.
Yeah. You guys have chest
Those
hair
type
still.
of people, they just spread out of the ground up here.
Basically.
Here's one you might be more familiar with then. Reboot. Reboot was a entirely Canadian produced animated series.
Oh, I have seen this. This showed up on Cartoon Network or Nickelodeon?
Did it?
I forget where. But yeah, this one totally showed up out here. And I have seen it. It was so weird because wasn't this really early on when they first introduced this kind of
fully 3D animated series? Yeah.
Yeah, kind of the assisted animation.
Well, not assisted in the sense that we're assisted animation.
Well, I mean through
But
the
no,
models. Yeah, by using models.
If you want to call that assisted, but no, yeah, CG, completely computer generated.
You are far more educated in that world's terminology than I.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this one was always bizarre because I think conceptually it was cool, as much as it looked kind of funky. But I think the bad guy was like some funky dragon looking face, wasn't it? Yeah, this guy.
Megabyte.
Megabyte.
I don't know if I'd say dragon faced, but
here's a view of the cast. Yeah, this was a weird show. I remember this lady was always like a psychopath. She reminded me of
hexadecimal. Yeah,
she had the same vibes as what's her name from the original Power Rangers. Do you recall?
I think I know who you're talking about, but I was never a Power Rangers guy. But I've seen the costume.
God, what was her name? Something USA.
Rita Repulsa, says Aaron.
Rita Repulsa, was that her name?
Google it.
Yeah, she's the one. Yeah, I guess
God,
so.
you don't know anything tonight. Jeez.
Listen, names are like past gas. Once you smell it, it's not there forever. I don't know. That was terrible.
That was not a saying.
No, not good at all. But yeah, no, I'm very bad with names. I don't remember the names. I just remember the look and the vibe.
But no, I'm looking through the Wikipedia entry here for a list of Canadian animated television series, and Canadians were once all over the place. We had a thriving animation industry.
What happened to it?
I mean, Korea's pretty cheap. There's not much else you can say. It just gets a lot more economical to farm it out.
I'm surprised, Aaron. You've been super snappy with like calling back these names. So thank you for the help there. Rig, what are you saying? Do I smell burnt toast? That's just the smoke coming out of my ears, right? Vector,
That's got to be it. That's got to be it.
Do you smell burnt toast? Is Jamie around?
We're gonna find a nice home for you one of these days.
Yeah, thanks,
Somebody to
buddy.
look after you. Yeah.
Thanks, buddy. Yeah, let me. Elon got me covered with those robots that are gonna come out one day.
There you go.
There I go.
They can just pick you up and move you around.
Exactly. She'll feed me some soup. It'll be great. Child of the 80s. Yeah, so your mind still functions normally. Well, Vector, I think we're getting about that time to start calling it, but
You certainly seem to be, but it was a good show. I thought we had some lovely topics of discussion. We got to school Dregn on all things Canadian, not to mention robots.
Yeah.
And little miniatures. Just think of all the wonderful things you can take away from tonight's broadcast and then forget about over the weekend.
It'd be great. It's great. I love it. That's what I'm here for. I'm more than happy to be the butt of any joke. But thank you, Vector,
thank everybody for tuning in tonight. It was great to be here. Always a pleasure to be on the Incredible Pod Talk Cast Show, Episode 2.
Exactly. Maybe we'll see if Vector swings by again sometime. We're going to be looking to get some other folks out here to have a little casual little chit-chat, talk about whatever comes to mind. And
most definitely,
and I'll be here to make funny noises and not make any sense. And
well, you should just bring me back on to wrangle guests and keep things moving.
There we go. Vector will be my... you can be my Jamie. From from Joe Rogan. Just hey,
Joe Rogan
Vector, pull up that robot that tore that bear's head off.
Yeah, find that, pull that up.
But do check out Vector Spaceman. Link in the description to his YouTube and his Twitch for the times that he streams, and check out those shorts.
Definitely check out Vector Spaceman, whose links to Twitch and YouTube you can find in the description.
What he said. Yeah, thanks, guys. With that, though, this was Dregn, Durant, Vector Spaceman.
And Vector Spaceman.
Goddamn right. And thank you all. Have a great night, and we will catch you next time.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. See you guys. So long.